Welcome, my fellow peeps, to Making Sales Social Live, brought to you by Social Sales Link. I'm Bob Woods, the LinkedIn Sherpa, and I'm joined by fellow LinkedIn and social selling professional, also known as the LinkedIn Whisperer, Bryn Tillman. How you doing, Bryn?
Good, Bob. How are you?
I am doing great, doing great. Let's talk about fake accounts on LinkedIn. It's something that God knows I wish we didn't have to talk about,
Mm,
but we need to talk about it because Bren and I are seeing more and more fake accounts lately from all sorts of people, unfortunately. And they're being started by people who have, reasons. So the two big things going on here are people who are either creating these fakes to accommodate automation, and the worst reason, people are actually pretending to be other people. So Bren, I know you've got a really good story about someone who created or who went out to a company and got busted by a person who was trying to the attorney story.
Go ahead, tell my story, Bob.
You don't remember the story. So evidently there was a someone who went and hired a third party firm
Oh,
to
you
to
tell it. Yeah.
do yeah, to and tell me if I'm saying something wrong,
Yeah.
to actually do prospecting for them. And then one of these people bit, quote unquote, and that person happened to be an attorney. So when the person who originally did the hiring of the third party company reached out to this attorney, the attorney said, well, wait, I want to talk to Amanda or whatever the
Right,
name of
right.
the fake profile was. And the guy said, well, actually, that was a fake profile. This
Yeah.
is really me. I'm the real person. And this attorney then proceeded to let's just politely say, give this other gentleman an earful about what
Yeah.
he did.
So absolutely. And thank you for reminding me. But yeah, this so ultimately what happened is that the company paid another company to go out and pretend, AI, go out and pretend, and they created a fake account. But here's the thing, and I'm going to just start with this from the very top level, and this is a perfect example. When you start a relationship with a lie, you will never, ever be able to build an authentic relationship. It can never work. So keep in mind, and we're going to talk about, we don't expect that you guys listening are out there setting up fake accounts. What we want to do
Exactly.
is help you identify the fake accounts. And, this came out of, I saw for the first time an MTV TV show about catfishing from a dating perspective. And
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
love
oh
that
my
phrase.
gosh, this is happening on LinkedIn. So, with that said, Bob, let's get into how to spot a fake account.
Yeah, so we've got 5 ways that or 5 things that you can essentially identify a fake account. So the first one is if the profile photo, so in other words, the photo of the person on the profile looks just too good to be true. I mean, a very unrealistic, good model quality photo, you know that it's probably fake. And that's not to say that there aren't good looking people out there who have photos who are real people. It's just, as it's
They're
one of those things where it's
airbrushed.
like, right, yeah, they look airbrushed. If you just look at it and go, okay, that person just really doesn't look real. What you can do is you can use Google reverse image search. if if that photo then if you see like other places where that photo appears, especially in photo
Adobe.
stock sites like
Yeah,
Adobe or Pixlr or any of those types of things, you know that that
it's
is a fake
fake. That's
profile.
a big one. That reverse image is great. The other thing, from a woman's perspective, military men that are reaching out.
Ah,
From a man's perspective, it's the beautiful
yep.
woman that's airbrushed. But I can't tell you how many military men reach out to me to connect. And I'm like,
Wow.
"Mm, you're really not, if you're in the military, active especially, you're not really using LinkedIn. And why would you reach out to me?" So, yeah,
Yep.
keep that in mind. That's a big one. Not to say that if a military man reaches out to you, if he checks all the other boxes, it might be
Yep.
fine.
It might be fine. Yeah, and
So
that's the
what's
same
the
thing with
next
those.
box to
Yep.
look at?
The next box to look at is the opposite end of that. So the opposing view to that. If the profile picture the uh on the profile is like fuzzy, or the subject is so far back in the photo that it's like, is that a real person? Is that a mannequin? Like that type of thing. That also might be a fake profile.
That's really good. I will tell you a profile that's not fake that's here. Hi, Jeffrey. This is my first cousin, my only first cousin, and I'm
Ah,
living now in the town he grew up in. And hello, I love you. Okay.
oh, that's
So,
great. Love it when we're
okay.
live. That
That was
happens. That's
fun.
all.
Yeah, that was awesome. Um, okay. So the fake, the fuzzy profiles, really tiny profiles, all pictures, all of those things are definitely a fake. See, now I'm all flustered.
Yeah,
I'm
I
all
know
flustered.
this
Yeah.
because it's so frustrating, and like I said, both Brent and I
Well,
have
no,
been
I'm
getting more
flustered
and more.
because I got to see my cousin here.
Oh, because of that.
No,
Oh,
that's okay. We'll
yeah.
keep going. We'll keep
I
going.
get that too. All right, number 3. So, um, and this involves more of the whole profile in general, not just the photo. So, 2 things, and there's actually even a third here. A, you don't know them. B, they have fewer than 100 connections. And if you get both of those together, I also have a further qualifying factor if they don't have any mutual connections to you, because how the heck would
Absolutely.
they find you otherwise? So that is another good indication that it's probably fake. It may not be fake. So there's always that caveat. It
Well,
may not
can
be.
I share?
Chances are good.
So, what you can do is you can actually reply to them before you accept the connection
Yep.
request. So, when you are in the My Network tab where you would accept that, if you click on reply before you accept, you can send a quick little message like, "Hey, George, thanks for the connection request. I'm curious, how did you find me?" So if you ask that question and then ignore them, if they don't get back to you, or if they get back to you with a legitimate answer, you may consider connecting. But I live and die by that reply before accepting.
Yep. That is a crucial thing to have, and hopefully LinkedIn will keep on having it. So the next one is, and actually this is something that you really need to evaluate if you're going to use this as a potential qualifier. So they have the same photo on every social media platform, which I have that going on myself. There are a lot of people who actually do have that because they want uniformity among all of their socials. The catch here, though, is if there are also no other images posted for months or even years on those other ones, so in other words, they're not active in those as well, then chances are it's a fake. So don't necessarily use the same photo on every social media profile alone as a disqualifier. Look at the activity as well. If there's no activity there, oh, and by the way, a lot of these fake profiles on LinkedIn will also have no activity associated with them as well. Then it's probably a fake.
Yeah, and especially if it's that model picture on every single
Yes.
and
Yeah.
every single profile. So that's a
Yeah,
good one.
so you can definitely combine some of these as well, because we don't want you being catfish, that is for sure. So the next one, number 5, is their work history or alumni listings are
Big one.
suspicious. This
Big
is
one.
huge because anyone can connect to a company page or an alumni page without any vetting. So
That's
you
true.
can
Yeah.
theoretically say that you work for Microsoft and attached to Microsoft, mm, and if Microsoft doesn't catch it, and a company's like the size of Microsoft, guess what? Probably ain't going to catch it. Um,
So if I
you
can,
know,
so this is a big thing that I want to talk about.
yeah,
If
let's do it.
you look at, so if you look at a profile and it says Vice President L'Oreal and there's no other work history,
Yep.
or graduated summa cum laude from some big
Harvard.
university,
Yeah.
and there's nothing else in here, and they have 3 connections and you're number 4, but you'll notice they've got these big roles in these fake profiles that are supposed to impress you. And then also you'll look like vice president is lowercase, or they've got this really, they graduated from Harvard, yet there's grammar mistakes everywhere. So you want to look at that alumni and that work history. That's a big one, identifying a fake profile.
Yeah, especially when there was one that actually we caught, and actually our friend Gunnar Hood caught in one of our classes last week, where the photo was majorly sus. The the headline and their position was very similar to what Brennan said. And then you can tell when you went through like the alumni and through the companies that this person supposedly worked for, and this is something else you can look for too. It looks like that they just copied and pasted directly from websites without adding anything else, or it just, it reads very generic, very robotic because it comes from the websites. So, you know, those should
So
also raise major red flags in your mind as well.
yeah, this is something I didn't know about. So Lisa states, if you have any questions about a company, be sure to check the Secretary of State for the state they claim they're
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, that's
I
a
did
great
not know that.
suggestion.
So we
That's a
will look into
fantastic
that as
suggestion.
a
Yep.
great thing.
That won't
So
help you with individuals, but that will help you with companies if the individual looks sus and also the company is like, "Okay, I don't get this." Yep, absolutely.
yeah, and another thing I want to throw in that's not necessarily in our list, but the incomplete profile. If they
Yeah.
really have almost nothing on it, you have to think, why are they reaching out to you?
Yep.
If they don't know you, you may not have shared connections, they haven't engaged on your content. How did you get to be number 7 when they're halfway across the world? So, a lot of, just use some common sense suspicion with a lot of these. And sometimes I completely ignore them, especially if we had one where I forget what client we were working with, and it was they had 0 connections. He was the first person that was reaching out. And here's what happens with these fake accounts: is they get shut down all the time, and they're
Yep.
constantly starting all the time. So very few of them have a lot of connections for that reason.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do we have
Absolutely.
another one?
No, that's it. We're just gonna kind of summarize our thoughts now. So I mean, obviously, number one, we are positive that no one who is listening to us right now is actually going to employ
Well,
anything like this.
positive.
So we know that. Yeah, we're sure. We're sure. We have good people listening to us.
And if
I
you are
feel
employing
confident
these
about that.
because someone sold you on a bill of goods,
Right.
stop.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I could potentially see something like that happening. Good people who got catfished into actually using this type of thing. So don't do
Right.
it. Um Obviously don't work with any company running a sales campaign with reps in air quotes using fake profiles, because you can tell that they just don't care about building quality, authentic, uh, transparent relationships with someone, because you don't want to be involved with a company that's catfishing. I certainly don't. I'm assuming you don't either, Bryn.
Yeah, that's great. Well, this was good. Let's bring it in for a landing.
Let's bring it home. So, thank you again for joining us here on Making Sales Social Live. Lisa says, "We good ones." Yes, we are. We are all good, without a doubt. If you're live with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter right now, we do this live every week, and we are real and genuine. So keep an eye out for our live sessions. If you haven't listened to us on our podcast, or if you are listening but you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe or follow button. If you want more info about our podcast in general, socialsaleslink.com/podcast is where you want to go. We do 2 shows weekly, this one and our Making Sales Social interview series, where we talk with leaders and experts in sales, marketing, business, and many more areas. So when you're out and about and you are being genuine, authentic, and yourself on LinkedIn, be sure to make your sales.
Social.
Thanks.